Have you started waking up at 3 a.m. for no obvious reason? Do emotions feel bigger than they used to? Maybe the workouts that always kept your weight steady suddenly aren't working anymore. And no matter how disciplined you are, your body seems to have changed the rules overnight. For millions of women, this can feel confusing, frustrating, and even frightening. Many wonder if they're doing something wrong. Others blame stress, aging, or a lack of willpower. But often, something much bigger is happening beneath the surface. It's called perimenopause, and despite affecting nearly every woman who reaches midlife, it's still one of the least understood stages of women's health. Perimenopause isn't menopause itself. It's the transition leading up to it, and it can begin years earlier than most people expect. While menopause is officially diagnosed after 12 consecutive months without a menstrual period, perimenopause can start in the late 30s or early 40s, sometimes even earlier. For some women, it lasts just a couple of years. For others, it can continue for close to a decade. What makes this stage so confusing is that hormones don't simply decline in a straight line. Instead, they fluctuate dramatically. One month, estrogen may be unusually high. The next, it can fall sharply. Progesterone often starts declining first because ovulation becomes less consistent. Rather than a gradual slowdown, it's more like driving on a road filled with unexpected twists and sharp turns. Those hormonal shifts affect far more than the reproductive system. Estrogen receptors exist throughout the brain, heart, bones, muscles, skin, blood vessels, and digestive tract. As estrogen becomes less predictable, many systems that once worked quietly in the background suddenly become harder to regulate. Sleep is often one of the earliest signs. Perimenopause is the transitional phase before menopause, when hormone levels, especially estrogen and progesterone, begin to fluctuate. These hormonal changes can cause irregular menstrual cycles, making periods heavier, lighter, shorter, or farther apart. Common symptoms include hot flashes, night sweats, mood swings, sleep disturbances, and increased fatigue. Many women also notice brain fog, difficulty concentrating, anxiety, or changes in memory during this stage. Fluctuating hormones can affect metabolism, leading to changes in body weight and where fat is stored. Symptoms often vary from month to month, which is why perimenopause can feel unpredictable or chaotic. Perimenopause typically begins in a woman's 40s, but for some, it can start in the late 30s. 8. The transition can last anywhere from a few years to over a decade before menopause officially occurs. Healthy habits, such as regular exercise, balanced nutrition, quality sleep, and stress management, can help reduce the impact of symptoms. Understanding that these changes are driven by natural hormonal fluctuations can help women seek appropriate medical advice and manage perimenopause with greater confidence. Many women who have slept well for decades suddenly find themselves waking during the night, especially between 2 and 4 in the morning. Sometimes it's because of night sweats, but often there isn't an obvious reason. Hormonal changes can influence the brain's temperature regulation, while falling progesterone may reduce some of the calming effects that support restful sleep. Poor sleep then creates a ripple effect, increasing fatigue, making concentration harder, and amplifying emotional stress the following day. Mood changes can be just as surprising. A woman who has always considered herself emotionally steady may suddenly become more anxious, impatient, or overwhelmed. Small inconveniences that never mattered before can suddenly feel enormous. This isn't a character flaw, nor does it mean someone is losing emotional resilience. Estrogen helps regulate neurotransmitters such as serotonin and dopamine, both of which influence mood and emotional balance. When hormone levels fluctuate rapidly, emotional stability can fluctuate with them. That doesn't mean every mood change during midlife is caused by hormones. Life during these years often brings additional pressures, from demanding careers to caring for children and aging parents. Stress, relationships, financial concerns, and existing mental health conditions all play important roles. Perimenopause doesn't exist in isolation. It interacts with everything else happening in life. Then there's the issue many women notice first: weight changes. Someone may continue eating similarly, exercising consistently, and yet gradually gain weight, particularly around the abdomen. This can feel incredibly discouraging because strategies that worked for years suddenly become less effective. Several factors contribute to this shift. Resting metabolic rate gradually declines with age. Muscle mass naturally decreases if strength training isn't maintained. Sleep disruption affects hunger hormones, and estrogen influences how fat is stored. None of this means weight gain is inevitable, but it does mean the body often responds differently than it did at 25. One common mistake is responding by eating less and exercising more intensely. While that approach sometimes produces short-term results, it can also increase fatigue, reduce muscle mass, and become difficult to sustain. During perimenopause, preserving muscle becomes increasingly important because muscle supports metabolism, bone health, blood sugar regulation, and long-term mobility. Strength training deserves far more attention than it often receives. Resistance exercises help maintain lean muscle, improve insulin sensitivity, and support bone density, which becomes increasingly important as estrogen declines. The goal isn't necessarily lifting the heaviest weights possible. Consistent, progressive resistance training a few times each week can make a meaningful difference over time. Nutrition also deserves a shift in focus. Rather than chasing restrictive diets, many experts encourage prioritizing adequate protein, high-fiber foods, colorful vegetables, healthy fats, and minimally processed carbohydrates. Protein becomes especially valuable because it supports muscle maintenance and helps increase feelings of fullness. Fiber benefits digestive health while also supporting healthy cholesterol and blood sugar levels. Calcium and vitamin D also become increasingly important during this stage because declining estrogen accelerates bone loss. Depending on individual circumstances, healthcare providers may also evaluate nutrients such as iron, vitamin B12, or magnesium if symptoms suggest possible deficiencies. Brain fog is another symptom many women describe but often struggle to explain. Words seem harder to find. Multitasking becomes more difficult. Walking into a room and forgetting why can happen more often. These changes can understandably create anxiety, especially for women worried about cognitive decline. Fortunately, temporary memory lapses during perimenopause are common and usually reflect the combined effects of hormonal fluctuations, disrupted sleep, and increased stress, rather than permanent brain disease. Protecting sleep, staying physically active, managing cardiovascular risk factors, and maintaining social and intellectual engagement all support long-term brain health. Periods themselves often become unpredictable. Cycles may shorten, lengthen, become heavier, lighter, or skip altogether. Although irregular periods are common during perimenopause, unusually heavy bleeding, bleeding after sex, bleeding between periods, or any bleeding after menopause should always be evaluated by a healthcare professional because other medical conditions may need to be ruled out. Hot flashes receive a great deal of attention, but they don't affect everyone in exactly the same way. Some women experience sudden waves of heat, lasting only a minute or two. Others notice flushing, sweating, chills afterward, or repeated episodes throughout the night. Researchers believe these symptoms result from changes in the brain's temperature regulation, linked to fluctuating estrogen levels. The encouraging news is that treatments have expanded considerably. Lifestyle adjustments help many women, while others benefit from hormone therapy or non-hormonal medications. The best option depends on personal medical history, symptom severity, and individual risk factors. Decisions about treatment are most effective when made together with a qualified healthcare provider, rather than based solely on social media advice.
One area that's finally receiving more attention is heart health. Before menopause, estrogen appears to offer some cardiovascular protection. As hormone levels decline, risks for high blood pressure, unfavorable cholesterol changes, and cardiovascular disease gradually increase. That's one reason midlife becomes an excellent time to pay closer attention to blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar, physical activity, sleep quality, and smoking cessation, if applicable. Bone health deserves equal attention. Bone loss accelerates during the menopausal transition, often before women realize it's happening. Weight-bearing exercise, resistance training, adequate calcium, vitamin D, and avoiding smoking all contribute to maintaining stronger bones for years to come. Perhaps the most important message about perimenopause is this: it isn't simply something to survive.
For decades, conversations about this stage focused almost entirely on discomfort. Today, many experts view it differently. It can become a turning point, a chance to build habits that protect health for the next 30 or 40 years. Strength training, balanced nutrition, regular movement, quality sleep, stress management, preventive screenings, and informed conversations with healthcare providers become investments that pay dividends well beyond menopause itself. If you've been feeling unlike yourself lately, you're not imagining it, but you're also not powerless. Understanding what's happening inside your body changes the conversation from self-blame to self-awareness. Perimenopause may bring unexpected challenges, yet it also offers an opportunity to understand your health more deeply than ever before. And with the right information, support, and medical care when needed, this transition doesn't have to define you. It can become the beginning of a healthier, stronger next chapter.